Hello everyone, welcome back. So, the title of this video is very much clickbait, mainly because of the word need. Look, speaking as an Electro Main, Aggravate teams have always been great before Xilonen showed up, and they're going to continue to be great now that Xilonen is here, okay? But what's interesting about Xilonen's release is that she can in fact fulfill a role in Aggravate teams that has long been seen as weirdly lacking. So let's talk about what the perceived, and I do want to emphasize perceived, problems of Aggravate teams are before getting into how Xilonen effectively fixes them. But first, don't forget to subscribe. Did you know that 92% of y'all haven't subscribed? But that's actually a lot better than a few days ago when it was about 95%. So kudos to everyone who subscribed. That, of course, is making this YouTuber feel very happy about himself in the morning. I didn't say stop. Keep dragging that number down, folks. Keep dragging that number down. Now, of course, subscribing is also really good because, like I mentioned in a previous video, this will be video number 3 in a series looking into a variety of teams and interactions with Xilonen in actually some detail. So, without further ado, let's talk about what people thought was wrong about Aggravate teams and how Xilonen effectively fixes all of them. For the longest time, Aggravate teams, namely ones with an Electro on-fielder like Miko and Nahida and Fischl, because for the meta nerds out there, Fischl, have always struggled to include a healer in that slot. The meta nerds really wanted to include Kazuha or Sucrose because their buffs can affect both Miko and Fischl in very meaningful ways. But if you want a healer, then you're going to need to swap someone out because now you have a team that actually has 4 characters. You probably already know where I'm going with this. As the Jeff would always say, if you swap out Fischl, you find yourself with a massive DPS loss. If instead, you could actually swap your Electro on-fielder for, let's say, Shinobu or Dori. Of course, do you really ever play on-field Shinobu? Probably not. On-field Dori is an option though, but strangely enough, I don't think they were ever that popular in Quicken teams. They were more popular in Hyperbloom and Quickbloom, of course. So in the end, a lot of people did one of 2 things. Both somewhat psychotic, if you ask me. First, they could gimp Nahida's damage by running Medic Nahida. It's a perfectly fine build, but you do gimp Nahida's damage by a pretty significant margin. Or, the even more psychotic thing, you swap out Nahida. And I think a lot of people ended up swapping out Nahida, which is kind of how we sometimes hear this truly absurd statement, which is that Nahida is not good in Aggravate teams. What? For the record, I never did any of that. I never participated in any of that nonsense. Instead, I've always been partial to double Electro, double Dendro Aggravate teams, with Baiju or Yao Yao as my healer, of course. But regardless, what I was talking about does end up being the mentality for the meta Aggravate teams. Enter Xilonen, the Kazuha that heals. This is exactly what Aggravate teams needed. A Kazuha who heals. Now again, commenters relax, she's not exactly that, but let's think about it for a second. That's exactly what she is. On top of that, we also have the Peak Patrol Song, a weapon that unironically solves another issue that Nahida-based Aggravate teams often run into. See, what this all means is that in the aforementioned Aggravate team of Miko, Nahida, Fischl, we now have access to a healer that also brings us unconditional Electro Res Shred with Xilonen. Furthermore, if you run the scroll set, you also get a long-lasting damage percent buff, as long as you're able to do an Electro Crystallize. So, whilst the Res Shred doesn't suffer from this particular problem, trying to get that Electro Crystallize in the first rotation is obviously easy enough. You just use Miko's normal attack into an Electro Crystallize and then Nahida, Fischl, rah. But the second rotation meme with Nahida still persists for that scroll artifact set. At the very least, unlike someone like Kazuha, the second rotation memes only exist for one of Xilonen's buffs, not both of Xilonen's buffs. Except second rotation memes don't really become a thing if you were to use Peak Patrol Song, because this particular weapon introduces unconditional damage percent buffs for the entire team. So not only is it great for both the Electro characters in this example team, but it is unironically also great for Nahida herself. So we kind of do like that. So in this particular case, a C0R1 Xilonen is actually a pretty significant damage increase for the entire team. So at this point, I would probably go into a C0R1 Xilonen Aggravate team with the mentality that the scroll buff is actually more of a nice bonus instead of something that I have to twist my team around to try and accommodate. So before we get on to teams, I wanted to just quickly demonstrate the effect that Xilonen has on the damage output for both Miko and Nahida in Aggravate teams. So, of course, we have Miko, Xilonen, Nahida, and Fischl. We're not going to use Fischl, of course, because we're just trying to keep things a little bit cleaner. But either way, if I were to use my C3 Miko, by the way, and my C2 Nahida, but I'm not going to use Nahida's ult, notice that 27k. And then if we use Xilonen, that 27k has now become 43,928 damage, which is of course a pretty big buff right there. Xilonen is great in any team with Lisa, but of course I want to talk a lot more about Lisa Aggravate Hypercarry teams. That's right, especially if you have C0 Nahida. This is a team where actually pretty much every stat under the sun, except for Lisa's crit rate, is being affected and buffed by the entire team. Lisa's attack and crit damage is being buffed by Sarah. Lisa's EM is being buffed by Nahida. Lisa's damage percent, outside of her build of course, and enemy res is being affected by Xilonen, whilst Xilonen sustains her. And of course, enemy armor is being stripped by both Lisa and, in my case, C2 Nahida. Wait, where have I said this before? So, whilst my beloved international team is also very, very strong with Xilonen, I, for one, welcome with open arms the idea of Lisa Aggravate Hypercarry. 200k held skill nukes on the regular? Ooh! Sounds good to me.
You're in for a little shock. Come a little closer. You're in for a little shock. You've been a naughty boy.
Committed to memory. Sharing my knowledge.
Strike! Bring it! Surrender and I'll be... Flash! Storm the front! You're in for a little shock.
I haven't talked about Cyno in a hot minute, but what's nice about Xilonen and Cyno teams is that Cyno finally gets to play with a particular kind of buff that I don't think he's really ever had access to, and that's of course the Res Shred. Now, one thing that's often cited about Cyno is that he has a weakness of his incredibly long on-field time. But Xilonen can kind of work with that, because Xilonen's buffs range from the 15 to 20 second long duration, whereas Cyno's ult lasts for around about 18 seconds, and you do have an opportunity to dip out a little bit early if you want. So Cyno's bigger weakness is usually multi-wave content, but that's partly because Nahida's bigger weakness is actually multi-wave content. So I guess when you go up against that kind of battle, you do still have other options. DMC, C4 Carrara, Emily. Not exactly her team, but it's something that she can do. And of course, Xilonen's single target healing, like I've talked about previously, can of course sustain Cyno, Quickbloom teams no problem at all. So at that point, in my experience, the only real issue is actually energy. That's kind of why I would probably still stick with my old Cyno team, mainly because I run Favjon Baiju, so I can actually, catch Battery, Farina, and Cyno a lot better. But it is still, I would say, 100% worth considering and exploring a Xilonen variant. And now we get to talk about the most fun character in the game, because what's cool about Xilonen is that her buffs, once again, they last for 15 seconds. So in a Quickbloom team with Farina, we have more than enough time to go through Xilonen, Nahida, and Farina's skill at burst before popping off with Clorinde. And then afterwards, especially if you have TF Clorinde, we can swap back to Xilonen, use her skill, and then start popping off again. Just remember that Clorinde's skill duration is 7.5 seconds. So Xilonen's buffs lasting for 15 seconds is, say it with me, twice as long as Clorinde's buffs. So, it kind of works out more or less. Now, one thing that is particularly curious about Xilonen and Clorinde is the effect of using Xilonen's previously mentioned massive amounts of healing. Because what this actually does for Clorinde while she's shooting fools is that she can now use her dash earlier to A, sort out her A4 passive faster, and then B, get more self-healing from those earlier dashes. And it's point B that I want to focus on, because this made everyone mad. A while ago, I think I was talking about Sarah, and I was showing off how I play Sarah with Clorinde. I play Clorinde the way I normally play Clorinde, and everyone got pissed. Why am I using my dashes so fast? Oh my god, why am I spamming E's? That's not how you play Clorinde. I don't care. I really don't care about her lunge damage. I'm gonna be real here, that is what it is. That particular part of her kit, to me, it only serves for being able to move around a lot, which is what I like about Clorinde. So that's exactly what I'm gonna keep doing, because that's what I like. Otherwise, the damage from Clorinde that I really care about has and always will be her gun damage. So, because I like dashing around a lot, whilst keeping that bottom of life low, so that I can shoot fools and do more damage with her gun. Like quite a lot of meta nerds got really upset with the way that I thoroughly enjoyed playing Clorinde. But remember, it is in my express opinion, in the context of how I freely and willfully choose to play Clorinde, that Clorinde is still the most fun character in the game. Yes, more fun to play than Morlani and Kinich, fight me. This is important, because if you're playing Clorinde in a Quicken team, let's say her most meta one with Fischl, and then you pop Xilonen's ult, let's say because you need to heal the rest of your team, you're actually incentivized to play Clorinde the way I play Clorinde. To not play N3E, because by the time you do N3E, you've actually already got one of your gunshots doing less damage. But instead now you're incentivized to dash and lunge early. Meaning the way that I find the most excitement from this particular character, and frankly any character by far, is now, ironically, the meta combo to play for Clorinde. Checkmate, meta slaves. At the end of the day, you don't need Xilonen to play Aggravate teams. Let me be very, very clear. At the end of the day, you don't need Xilonen to play Aggravate teams. They've been really good before, and they will continue to be really good now, right? I've been playing Aggravate teams since Sumeru, and they've never let me down. International is one of my most favorite teams, and it's really, really strong. Now, granted, I have C2 Nahida, but it's really, really strong. But it's clear to me that should you introduce Xilonen into your Aggravate comps, You really will get all the power of Kazuha and nearly none of the issues. Plus healing. She's truly a consolidated character of all time. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. How do you feel about Xilonen in Aggravate comps? Have you even given her a try in Aggravate comps yet? Maybe you should have a look into them because really, they're very, very solid. Any combination of an Aggravate team is very solid with Xilonen around. Otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more Genshin Impact action, and until next time, I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Emerge right here.
Strike! Let's finish this.
I see everything. The Temple of Wisdom.